Okay, today I thought I would talk about cloud outages. About a week ago, I shared some thoughts on Amazon's recent outage, and all the big guys have them, and Amazon was a recent culprit. And there's a big push to the cloud right now because of the pandemic and working from home. But I've been talking to people about the cloud for what feels like a decade now, and initially concerns were always about uptime. It's got to be up all the time. And some of the things I'll hear is, I don't really care. It could be up or down all year except during tax season. And you don't really get to decide when you're up or down. There are ways to pay for benefits like that, but it doesn't necessarily either shine through either. So today is about setting expectations about and maybe just something a little bit relatable to something we've all actually gone through before. And I'm gonna talk about phones and landlines and cell phones. So for the longest time, our phones were super reliable. Landlines directly connected a cable. Every time you made a phone call, it pretty much was spot on. And then cell phones started arriving, very flexible, gave us all the things we were looking for, which is a phone on the go, and of course over time, smartphones and apps and all sorts of things. But initially, I can recall people losing their minds when a cell phone call went bad, and they would call the phone provider and ream them out. And I can imagine if you had a bad phone call today, not only do you know you wouldn't call them to ream them out because you know no one's going to answer the phone and even listen to you, and B, we've just kind of become accustomed to, oh, you sound like you're in a submarine. I'll call you back, or can you call me back? The same kind of thing can be applied to the cloud these days. You can't afford to do on premises what you can do in the cloud as far as security. You just don't have the personnel, you don't have the software, you don't have the hardware. So security, storage, being innovative and keeping up with what everyone else is doing, it's just not a reality anymore for on-prem. So that means we're in the cloud. But in the cloud, there's going to be good days and bad days. And, cloud's a good word. Some days it's stormy, some days it's not. And, you need to temper your expectations sometimes. You're paying a monthly fixed fee. There are this concept of an SLA, or, 5 nines, 4 nines, how much downtime you can have in a month. But if you look at the fine print, even the downtime that you have and how you might get reimbursed is going to be a colossal effort. And it's only going to be for that period of time that you were down, if you can prove that you were down. So we're talking pennies returned after a ton of time trying to prove that you were down. So for most, it's not a reality. So we need to recognize that, it's Google, it's Microsoft, it's Amazon, and maybe a bit of Apple that are controlling the infrastructure and the data and the access to what we need every day. And if one of them's down, and there's a good chance that some of them are down because they all rely on other services, you kind of just need to shrug and go for a coffee. Pick up the phone and call someone. Take a little me time. You could sit there and hammer on the phones or chat and yell at someone, some poor sap that's on the other end that's on front line. But I guarantee you they can't do anything about it. They're just there to take the heat. And by the time you're done making that phone call, the issue's probably been resolved, because the big guys care about their brand, and they care about being up, and they care about not making the same mistake again. So they will immediately put in policies and procedures to protect it. I remember a time when years ago, Microsoft had a data center go down because a hunter missed his target. He was trying to shoot a deer and instead shot out their fiber connection. So they developed a policy around hunting around their data centers. So, with every difficult time becomes a lesson, and they keep improving and keep adding value. And there's just no doubt that the value is in the cloud, but we need to temper our expectations and collectively just go for a coffee. So my question today is, have you experienced any downtime recently? Did you freak out? Did you just accept it? Did you just you find something else to do? One thing I hear about from people all the time is about Outlook and email, and I need to be able to compose an email offline, and therefore I have to use the Outlook software to be offline when I draft. Well, no, you don't. Use OneNote, open up Word, voice dictate what you're going to record, and then send the email later. So, this is all about managing and tempering expectations. So, any outages, any problems? What'd you do? Tell me. Thanks in the comments below. Bye.